myself. And I've been many times in Norway, but northern Norway is really impressive, I have to say. And there I've also taken these pictures. And we'll bring there, we expect 20 bikes. That's about the limit from the logistics. And we will bring there many different people with different bicycles and from different countries. Yesterday we had a very interesting team from Greece. And I hope we have a very international crowd with many different technologies and so on. And also musicians coming, not only you, but also there's Henry Schneider. He's a bassist from the Leipzig Symphony Orchestra. So we will use the stage to recharge while the participants, while having a break, and the bikes recharge.
So it means that we will have to play on the stage and bike, and then so the musician will not be able to recharge. Or how do I imagine this? Or we will have.
Yeah, I think we need enough so everyone just plays 10 minutes and has still enough time to recharge by himself.
So just because you invited me for this tour, I think half a year ago or so, something like this. How is it going to be? We're going to ride, I think, from sunrise.
Yeah, sunrise to sunset. Ooh. But actually, sunrise and sunset for 1,000 kilometers, not possible in one day. So that's why we choose this location, because there we have many days until sunset. Okay. And but we will, of course, have some time to rest. I don't know if everyone can sleep with the sun being up, if you're not used to it.
I think that's one of the great things about biking is that you always will be able to sleep. Yes, I sleep without curtains because I do a lot of sport, and that's the beautiful thing about being active as a human being.
All right. Yeah, I will explain a little bit more, showing some slides about the Future Challenge organization.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. The good thing is in summertime also there is warm and not so icy as here. So the targets, we already explained this a little bit, is to raise awareness about the possibilities of modern cycles and keep also the legal situation as it is and actually improve it. No driver license, multi-purpose, no age limit. Not on the bottom of your or the starting point of life or at the end of life. So key technologies which we are trying to promote is serious hybrid, multi-track, photovoltaic charging, fast charging, and the legal situation, legal as a cycle. And about the subject fast charging, Frieda Herb from Küberts Frieda Herb gave us a presentation about the solar charging, which you can see also in the back. There's a Küberts vehicle and also one from Netherlands, Golong, which will also participate. And now Frieda will talk about the legal situation.
Okay, this one, you put it? Oh, okay.
Da?
Ah.
So, meinst du, jetzt geht es?
Wir werden sehen. PowerPoint.
Ist es?
Siehst du nicht? Da unten? Ah, da? No NA? Nee. Interessant. Interessant.
Nee, ich habe es nicht eingestellt.
now I have everything. Welcome to my presentation, and I will give you some information about the, let's say, legal situation. And so we had a strong discussion with Hannes and also Andreas Fuchs, other people, how we can find there a good solution for the future for all the different vehicles which you can see here on displays. But first of all, I will give some information about myself, Frieder Herb, and I'm working now 3 years by Kibbutz, there in the development department, and you can also see this solar roof on that vehicle. That was also one idea what I put there in the company, and I could do some calculation. It shows it makes a lot of sense to use also solar power in the future, which is another topic as regulation. Now I want also to tell you a little bit about Kibbutz. Kibbutz is a small company placed in Zurich, and we have 180 people who are working on the topic. Our main customer are the Swiss Post, and we are building such vehicle as you can see here in front, the three-wheeler. On the other hand, we have a lot of vehicles on the way, and it's around 25,000 vehicles in operation, and that means they save a lot of CO2.
Yeah.
And shipping to Germany?
Yeah.
So what is
And another nice thing is, if it's working, unfortunately now, okay, is we are in a new building, and the new building is in Embrach. And this building, what you can see here, it's very huge, and there we assemble all our vehicles. Now, why also Kibbutz is interested in the legal situation? It's because we also launched a product, it's the e-pedelec. And this e-pedelec, also some are in operation by the German Post. And in the moment, we have no idea what happens with that market because of the legal situation. And that's one reason why we also come in account, because we thought about, okay, how should be the better regulation as we have today, for example. Because as you see, this vehicle, we have a maximum weight of 500 kilogram, and with 250 watt power, of course, it's not possible to run. Now there is another idea, as you can see here. The ZIV Zweirad Industrieverband proposed, okay, let's do more, like 750 watt max power.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there is the difference between max power and continuous power, as what the 250 watt is. And therefore, it's a higher limitation of the vehicle. And when you easily calculate, then you see on ground level, everything is not a problem.
It's about the future
because
challenge.
on ground level, it's enough power, this 750 watts.
Explain later a little bit more.
Of course, the acceleration on the cargo bike with 500 kilogram or 650 kilogram is not very good. But anyway, you can get 25 kilometers per hour. But the situation is really completely turning until you go to hill. And if you go to a hill with 10%, for example, which is in Stuttgart, very simple to find, then suddenly you get very slow. And this means with a cargo bike you can only drive 4.4 kilometers. And if you have a two-wheeler with also heavy two-wheeler, then it's really dangerous.
I could manage.
because then you cannot control it anymore with this slow speed.
Afterwards, I went
And
to
that's
bed at
one
9 o'clock.
reason why we're saying
So
this
tired.
limitation of 700 watt
near the
physical
main
makes no sense. It's very simple because the driving situation of a pedelec is really extreme different. So if you drive on ground level or on hill, you need complete different powers. And therefore a power regulation makes no sense. And that difference is much higher as, for example, for the acceleration. And the idea behind was to limit the power is because of acceleration. And that's a conflict what you have. And that is one point why we now thought, okay, there could be an improvement of that regulation.
35 years now.
So when we're not thinking about power, so we can think about acceleration. And acceleration are much more closer to the vehicle. And when we say, okay, we want to limit the acceleration, which is important in the end for the safety and also the speed, then
Work with easy pedal.
we come in the right direction. And the easy idea of that is,
It's all not
let's
easy, but
build with the
moving on.
pedelecs bicycle,
As usual.
which have a similar behavior on ground level. But on the hill, you get a really good support power by the electrical motor, which makes the driving much more safer. Because the problem always is if you drive slow on a hillside, then you are also a problem in the traffic.
Continue with the Indian
And to come to that point, to overcome, so you can use such a regulation. And there is another idea, you see the graph down, this histogram, and in this graph there is a paper and they measured how fast vehicles crossing a street crossing.
And the trend has already started towards that.
And now we selected a value and it's a 0.85. It's also the value which is written on the presentation there. And this is a standard acceleration value, which is normal possible with bicycle.
We got Walmart also on board.
And when we say, okay, such a standard value we want to have until 15 kilometer per hour, then everybody is safe and also in the flow of normal vehicles. Now, if you have more power, what happens? You can drive faster and you can also have a higher acceleration, and the same behavior we also want to have with the pedelec. That means if you put more power, human power inside, you get a higher acceleration.
Aluminium is over.
And this you can see in the table. And now with this regulation,
Any money going into
we
aluminum
can also fulfill the 10%
when
on
the
the
wave is already
hillside.
going down.
And you see also the speed now. Of course, we get, for getting 25 kilometers per hour on the hill by 10%, I wrote there how much power you need. So for normal pedelec, you need not many power if the person is not very heavy. So if the person has only 60 kilogram included the vehicle, for example, then only it's around 200 watt necessary to get the speed of 25 kilometers per hour. But if you have more weight, like 300 kilogram, then you need a power of 1,500 watt. And if you have more weight, then you need 3,000, also 500 watt. There you see the difference. And that you see also the influence of the weight. And that's the reason why we say, okay, let's change this regulation more to acceleration. And for that, what is there necessary? Today we have this EU regulation 168, unfortunately a lot of numbers, 2030. And in this regulation today is written the 250 watt. And for that we need another description. And a proposal on our side is like this description, which of course is a little bit more complex, but there are not extreme, let's say, formulas inside, which is saying, okay, it should depend on the acceleration, depending on how much power you pedal. But also we said, okay, it makes also sense, because it has also on a bicycle, that the speed, if you have more power, then you can also drive a higher speed, which is natural. And that behavior we also like to have. So I think that's it. Thank you very much. And if you have some question, please. Hannes, do you have some questions?
Yeah, the question is, when will the industry follow physics? But this is more a philosophical question.
Of course. No?
This is, we have also 4 posters about the subject in our exhibition in this corner. And yeah, I've been seeing many people who struggle to accept this, accept physics.
I think it's not only physics, because when I start to speak about physics, unfortunately I have studied physics. No? I think you will never understand anything, no? Because there are also quantum physics and relativity theory. But for this law or for this regulation, you only need Newton. That's enough. So.
Okay.
And this was the 16th century, of course, which changed the life of many, many people, the description of Newton and his gravity laws.
Okay.
And I hope so we can also change now a little bit that in the future this kind of vehicle can also drive in the cities. I think that is the most important thing.
Yeah. I know we have not much time because we fucked up so much with the climate change, and especially in the transport sector, we are far behind all the goals, and that's why the big step is SUV replaced by some future cyclists, and I think yeah, we can make this happen. And if you look to some cities like Paris with good policy, a lot is possible, but also with good technology, these things can be improved, especially for the city of Paris, because they have the gorgeous Velib bike sharing scheme, which soon will become 20 years, so in 2 years. It's the 20th anniversary, and every 10 years they have to make a new tender. And between the first tender and the second tender, they wasted several hundred million euros and a lot of time for changing the stations, because they changed the bicycles. So they had to rip out the stations from the ground because they belong to the old bikes, and get a building permit for a new one and install a new one, which cost a fortune, and also disabled the whole Velib system for more than a year. So this was terrible. And on this boost, there is the solution for that, and I hope that 2027 all the city of Paris will use this technology to make it easy. And therefore, I think Johannes Dornhofer can tell us something. Johannes, maybe you bring the table with you.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can
Thanks.
hand the micro to
I will do it.
Johannes.
Hannes.
Frieda, mein Klicker.
Clicker, yes.
Und Johannes, kannst du auch das Mikrofon geben, alles. Yeah, one part of the future challenge is fast charging, because we will not stop for changing batteries. Now we will only stop for having music and fast charging the vehicles. Going back to the other presentation. Yeah, until Johannes getting ready here. some stuff about the locations. So the start is at the North Cape at Norway. It's an ancient island. So going from the island to the mainland, we will go 200 meters below sea level in a tunnel with the cycles. It's a little bit frightening there, but yeah, you can see how it looks. And it's also pretty steep, going down and up. And it's extremely beautiful landscape. In summertime we will not see much snow. I've been there in October, so sometimes quite icy and snowy. And not many vehicles, but all drivers are very careful because of the reindeers coming. And they're also not so shy, they're coming in big groups. So that's why I think it's also as cyclist, I always feel safe because the car drivers expect reindeer behind every corner. So when it's just a cyclist, it's okay, not so dangerous.
Yeah.
And a lot of water. And the charging we will do with an electric truck, which also brings our bikes from Frankfurt to the North Cape. And also after we manage the 1,000 kilometers, it will bring it back. And this electric truck we will use as a backup power to power our charging stations, which we will bring along. The type of charging station is the black one with the two white vehicles. And the interface which we'll use is the standard charging interface, which has been defined in the last 15 years with the IEC standardization. This was an order by the European Union, and now since about 2 years it's published, finally, after lengthy discussions. And yeah, Johannes,
Yes?
he is the guy who put a lot of thought into it and also made the first prototypes. And yeah, he will explain us something about the benefits of this and the basic principle of this interface.
Yes, things that I have sometimes to speaking about. In the standardization, we are the group that is lower than the car station you see on the picture. So the car station begins at 120 volt, and for our small vehicles, most time is 60 volt, much enough for charging batteries, for example, for cargo bikes. So we have built a connector system called the Energy Lock. It can charge and lock the vehicle, and that's important in the field, because we have learned a lot of people didn't want to use a bicycle because in the city is often stolen, and that's why the locking is important. But the other thing, we are the group defined this connector not only for bicycles, we defined it up to scooters, to bigger scooters, and they need a lot of energy. Now this changed also at bicycles, because they want to have fast charging, and this fast charging you need a lot of current, and we can deliver up to 60 amps, 60 volt in the style of connector. This is designed for it, and if this is not enough, you can also use the high voltage connector, because it's in our group of the standardization allow also to have up to 120 volt. And this is done by this extra pin. So it is safe for a bicycle. Here it's maximum 60 volt possible, and if you have the right isolation in the vehicle, you can use a connector with high voltage. How does it work? This kind of cable is normally fixed installed to the vehicle, so it's part of the vehicle. here, how it communicates, you see only 2 power pins. We use, like in a credit card, the near-field communication, or in a payment system of public infrastructure. That's a wonderful situation because we can give here very safe information from one side to the other, and also have identification like a credit card today. And for the charger in the infrastructure, very important, we can all give the information what's needed for the battery, the voltages, the currents, and whatever. So it's possible for me to integrate all kind of vehicles in this racing track. And the rules will be that 2 hours is riding time, and 1 hour you must be able to recharge. So it is possible for vehicle who handle a little bit fast charging. So for the members of this race, they should be calculated before. Is it possible that I can store enough energy again in this 1 hour?
Here's the architecture, how we want to do this system. So there's the public charging station, which the truck will use to recharge, while the others cycle. And then on the back of the truck there's a 400 volt AC outlet with 43 kilowatt. And this will go to just like a construction site electric box. And from there we will have cables to the with always the capability of 2 to 3 vehicles, and we will have space there for 20 vehicles to be charged by 2 trucks.
Yeah, and every vehicle we can deliver 3.6 kilowatt. So yes, so welcome all what will make fast charging at the racetrack.
And anyhow, this is I think the new world of having it's like a power bank.
And you believe that we have enough energy?
Yes.
On the street? In nowhere?
No, I checked this. The good thing is, even the northern Norway, there are not many people, but even most gas stations, they replace the gas pumps with fast chargers.
Wow.
Because the electric vehicles in Norway are everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, and also now with the electric trucks, even with the electric trailers on the trucks. Also, this is not a problem because the trucks can have about 750 kilowatt hours in their battery, and also it's possible to have a trailer with another battery, because many of the trucks now also have electric trailers. They are also used in connection with diesel trucks. To extend the range. So this means that the trailer is powering itself.
Great.
So we could also use a trailer if it has such an interface, but I checked most of the trucking companies. Only Volvo has the right outlet for us in every truck they deliver.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's of course the future. I expect that we have tracks with enough public parking and charging stations along the way,
Yes.
which we can use. And I guess also the European Union with the Euro Velo route, and we will start at the North Cape, by the way, also at the Euro Velo route. This will also, they will have these stations soon. So this means that cyclists can cross Europe on the Eurovelo route without worrying about energy.
Yes.
Because they can have an ice cream and the bike can have 3.5 kilowatt.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Johannes.
Welcome.
Any questions? Then we would continue with the moon buggy team from Leipzig. Just have to pick them up. Ralf Heckel on the stage, please. Oder soll die Cosma das machen? Oder soll die Cosma das machen?
Naja, aber da müssen wir umstecken, weil das lässt sich nicht downloaden. Das kriegen wir hin, das ist der HDMI. Ne?
Okay. Ja. Just a moment. We will get. As long as the others getting ready, I will give you an introduction to the principles.
Stecken wir es einfach um.
Was hast du? HDMI?
Ja. Wie kriegt er das jetzt nicht irgendwie gebacken runterzuladen, weil das sind ja 600 MB oder sowas.
Okay. 600 MB? Gottes Willen. Tschüss, aber
Ich sage, das mit PowerPoint hat eigentlich 30 bis 40 maximal. Ja, das ist ja nichts Altes von euch früher.
Ah, okay.
Ich sage, nee, du musst einfach nur Daten reduzieren, wenn du reinkommst.
Ja.
So. Ja.
The Ralf Heckel will give his introduction to the moon buggy team. These are these four-wheeled bikes which you see here, and they have a long history. But he will.
So.
Explain this by himself.
Wie startet das denn? Da, ja, okay. Normalerweise kenne ich das mit F5. Aha, okay. 1, 2. So, okay. Somebody here? Yeah. English? German?
English.
English. Okay, Cosma, we need you here then. Yeah? Okay. So my name is Ralf Heckel. I'm the director of the International Space Education Institute, what is located in Germany, Leipzig. This is 300 kilometers from here. And I tell you the story, what is 20 years long. Yeah? 20 years ago, we decided to support young people in space engineering. And from my hometown Leipzig, there is a NASA scientist from, Professor Dr. Jesko von Puttkammer. He was the director of the International Space Station and worked in Huntsville, Alabama for NASA since the 1960s with Werner von Braun and the German rocket team on Apollo, on the space shuttle and on the ISS. And in his age, before he was retired, he became his baby ready, what is the International Space Station. So in space were started international and multinational work. 2 years later, in 2026, I came to Huntsville, Alabama with a couple of students and saw a challenge with the name Moon Buggy Race. This is a challenge, a contest for young people, for future engineers, how to build a rover vehicle for the moon. Because the main designers who designed, maybe I need a microphone here. Is this okay? Ah, yeah, I have, okay. The designers of the Apollo rover were in an age about 60, 70 years in that time, and they said, we need young students to find out if they are able to make our future space missions for Moon and Mars. And so they invented the Moon Buggy Race as a challenge for young people. In that time, nobody knows that the bicycle industry will build cargo bikes. Nobody knows that the bicycle industry will build trikes, quads, or something like what you have now. So since that time, I spoke with him, with Jesko von Puttkammer. Let us, as international team, participate here on this NASA challenge. And he made it real. And since that time, we are, since 18 years, first international participants. Now behind us are more than 100 other international teams from North, South America, Africa, from India and also from Asia. That creates a huge emotion and a huge excitement, so that we have now, this is rover number 47. The other rover what you see outside, this is rover, the first winning team from 2019. The girl who drove this rover in the back there, 2019, is now 20 years old and makes her bachelor in space engineering in the Technical University of Delft. Other have also their engineer degree in the pocket, or they are on the way as a training astronaut. What I want to tell you this is that when you have a goal and when you have a task, also with young people, nobody knows how far they go. And this is what this challenge has as a result. And here is Cosma. She started with an age of 3 months with us traveling to Huntsville, Alabama, to our first rover challenge. Now she is 18, and this year and last year she was the pilot of one of these teams and won on the place the second time, also the second place on the challenge, and the all in all award she has the place number 4 from 100 teams. Applaus, Cosma. Hier ist das Ding.
Thank you very much. You heard a lot about me already. I just want to say a personal hello. I'm Cosma, I'm 18, I'm from Leipzig, Germany. I am very interested into space and I love building these rovers. So that's why I want to give you a little personal look into how this kind of challenges are constructed and what is the whole experience of us students visiting the USA and making the race with this rover the first time. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the journey of 2024, 1 year ago, where we made the 4th place and won in another award. But later on, I will come to that. So first, we drove there, we assembled the rover, then we took part at the challenge, HERC 24, that's what it's called. Then after that we made a tour through the USA, because once we're there, why not take a look at the country, right? So we took a look at Houston, later on South Padre Island, on the SpaceX Starbase, because we are space enthusiasts, why not just take a look? New Orleans, and then we disassembled the rover again and flew back to Germany. So at first, the travel to there. We traveled about 8,000 kilometers in 30 hours with 3 flights. On the picture, you can see my colleagues. Let me give you a little view. Laser pointer. That's me over here, obviously. This is my colleague Heidi. That's my other colleague Frederick. And you can see little Jasko. He's running around somewhere. I can't see him right now, but we were a team of 3 people, which is very less. There are teams with 20, with 40 students. We were a team of 3, and I'm very proud of what we did. So then we arrived in Huntsville. That's the airport of Huntsville, Alabama. You can see in our faces, the journey was quite long. And then we directly began to assemble our rover. Took a blanket onto the ground, took our parts, unwrapped them, and then assembled them together. We took 3 days to assemble everything, and at the last day you can see already Frederick and me are driving the rover and testing if everything works out. 1 day later, we had not a lot of time, the challenge begins. Actually, HERC means Human Exploration NASA Rover Challenge. Just to spell it shortly, you can say HERC. That was the day of preparation. We took a look at the whole place, at the course. That was the first time we saw the course with our own eyes, because before it was just described in images or graphics, but you could not really know how this obstacle is. So the first look at these obstacles was very important, because we could adapt our strategy as you can see here, or you can see another obstacle over here. We transported our rover to the challenge, and then met a lot of teams. And at the end, we had a little safety meeting, because safety first. Race day 1. The competition consists of 2 race days, just in case something goes wrong. But on the first race, you can see us being prepared. I accidentally hurt myself, my fault, but already everything is fine now. You can see myself on the picture over there. I was very happy. And then we had to make an inspection before the first race. Every rover is checked on the measurements, on the weight, on the way it can be folded and the way it can be unfolded. My colleague and me, we were asked questions, many questions. We could answer them all without any problem. And then on the last picture, you can see we were ready for the race. And that's where we are right now. This is a video of the race. I don't know if it's able to be displayed. It's not, but don't worry, it's quite long. We don't have a lot of time. Here on the pictures you can see how the race went. We had several tasks. For example, here you had to grab some containers and store them in the rover and bring them to the finish line. Here we had to drive up a very big mountain, which was quite difficult. We had a pneumatic system on our rover, because the challenge was to clean a solar surface, because on the Mars there are storms and there's wind, and solar panels often get like dust is over them, and you don't get the energy that you normally get when they're clean. So we got something like a vacuum and cleaned it very quickly. And there you can see us right next to the finish. We finally got the first race. Sadly, in the first race, some things went wrong. For example, aluminium weldment broke. That's why my colleague, Frederick, fell off, which was not ideal. So he had to push us through. But we had a long night in front of us fixing this problem to take part at the race number 2. If you take a look at the pictures, you can see a lot of happiness because it was truly successful. We had no problems overall. We tackled the course without a problem, and we had the best time of all the teams. And I think that's worthy an applause.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you. But as Ralph spoiled already, sadly we didn't got the first place because, how can I say, it's very complex. The point system is very complex. You won't win just because you were the fastest on the course, because we have a 6 months preparation time where you have to deliver several documents that are up to 30 pages huge, which is for students that have school, hobbies, family next to it, quite difficult to manage. But we did. Sadly, the good thing is other teams got more points than us on this paperwork. But we think you cannot fly to the moon with a Piper Tiger. You have to fly to the moon with a rover that actually works. So it is what it is. That are the rules. So that's why we have the 4th place in the overall team's scoring. A very big surprise for us was that we won an award, because we won the Most Improved Performance Award. That means our performance was improved the most from the first to the second race in comparison to all the other teams, which relates to our accident in the first race. Means if in the first race something like everything would be okay and nothing would have been broken, then we wouldn't have gathered this prize. So what I want to say is, life is shitty sometimes, but you make the best out of it, and maybe you get an award. That's how life goes. After that, we had to travel around to experience the USA a little bit more, because 2 weeks
2025.
are worth of spend there. So our first stop was in Houston. We met the aspiring astronaut Jocelyn Jorzan. She's now married, named Jocelyn Kaur. She's about to be a pilot, to be an astronaut. And next to it, we traveled through the Space Center. You can see there's a piece of the Saturn V rocket over here. Or we were visiting some more rockets that you can see in the background right here. Or there's the space shuttle in the background.
Das war geil.
If you're a space nerd, that's a paradise. So I don't know, I can explain you so much, but let's continue to the next slide. South Padre Island. South Padre Island is the home of SpaceX. Because next to South Padre Island is the SpaceX launching pad in SpaceX productive hall. Here you can see us taking a look at the local attractions, for example the Starbase brewing stage or the Hopper House. But later on we of course had to take a look at the SpaceX Starbase and take a look at these huge rockets that are standing there. Here you can see us right in front of the starting pad. You know, that's the pad where the rocket stands on. Now you can imagine how huge they are, because we look like ants over here. It was really cool to drive there with our rover Ophelia. The rover you can see here right now is the rover in the picture. So she had already experienced a lot. Later on we took a stop by at New Orleans. Also visited space centers over here. You can see the engines of the Saturn V rocket that launched the Apollo missions to the moon. Right in front of here, there are the rockets, or they're in this building, the Michoud Assembly Facility. The the space shuttles and the Saturn V rockets were assembled. And of course we had to take a look at the sumps and the crocodiles and alligators of New Orleans too. Well, New Orleans has a lot of culture. You can see over here. We took a look at the Mississippi ships, and that was actually already the end of our journey. We drove back to Huntsville, Alabama, and disassembled the rover. That was quite quick. Oh, it's loading, but you know, we disassembled the rover, we packed everything back into our luggages and then flew back to Germany to prepare ourselves for the next year. And this was this year, 2025. And to our surprise, we tackled the course again. We had a problem at the first race again, almost identical to the last year's race. And I can present you the Most Improved Performance Award again. That's our second prize this time. So that was a little story out of our life. Students creating something that their passion is about. I hope you enjoyed my little presentation, and if you want, you can just always step up to me and we can drive a little round with this vehicle. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Cosma. This is the question also. It makes small dreams big to big people and to proud people. You see her now, she is 18. She is in English very stable. She knows the technical designs. She works on solid work, and she has a vocational training as industrial mechanic with A-level. And I hope that exactly this vision, what we set into our students, around about 300 now in the past 20 years, all they reached their job of the dream. And this is what we can do also in the future with the future challenge. Innovations, ideas, and Querdenker. Yeah, what is the English word for this? No? I mean not this Querdenker from Stuttgart. No? I mean that people who find simple ways for difficult questions. With this we can do more. We can do our future, and so the future challenge, for my understanding, is a motivation not only for students, industries and designers, because we are, with our challenge, the future part and the youth part of that. And I invite everyone to participate on this international part of the Rover Challenge, what is directly parallel to everything what has a bicycle, because the tasks are different and sometimes more difficult. Maybe Cosma show a little bit how to fold this rover. This has now electronic or electric power, but you can fold this rover in a small cube of 1.20 meters. Now this is enough here. We have another rover where you can show it more because this has batteries. It is too heavy for you alone now. We want to restart the International Rover Challenge beside NASA because the very intelligent President of America cut NASA budget by $18 billion, and so education is in the moment not possible for international teams at NASA. No problem. No, this man will be not sitting anytime on this place, but so we start now here to let the fire burning in Europe, the International Rover Challenge, together with ESA, together with ISRO from India, and I believe that NASA will join this in the future too. So, and let us start to challenge the future.
Yeah, thanks for this interesting aspect of the youth work. And I have to say, also for me, to get into the solar bicycles, as well as for Frieda, who spoke earlier, it was similar. In our childhood, we had the Tour de Sol, and we participated there, and this has directed our further future work until today. You will see now something from Pune, India, the Easy Pedal startup, and Pratyush, we still need the microphone. I think, Ralph, can you go in this direction? And your microphone too. Pratyush. Okay, too late. Easy Pedal is still a very
Sorry, should I start again? Okay, the mic was off. So, Easy Pedal Rideshare is situated in Pune. We have collaborated with the Government of India, and this is our first product in association with the Smart City India. This is the first project in the entire world on a large scale where we have collaborated with government, and we are launching the first IEC based charging protocol. We are working with the Smart City, and to understand what the Smart City exactly does is it comes directly under the control of the Smart City initiative, which is managed by the central government. So whenever a project is under the Smart City, we avoid a lot of red taping. So they choose only projects which are sustainable and are beneficial for the city. We are launching 225 electric bicycles next month, and this is going to be the first project again where we have entirely cracked the supply chain for the same in Pune. As you can see, we have worked on a very robust stand, anti-theft saddles, and we are using only drum brakes to avoid a lot of maintenance on the bikes. So to avoid vandalism, we also have managed to have security come watchmen on our stations 24/7. Plus we have 4 to 5 cameras on each station. We also have in our contract with the city, we also have access to the 2,700 CCTV cameras in Pune itself. I would also like to invite my co-founder Nikhil here, who can also speak about the project.
Thank you. So with Easy Pedal, the idea was that when me and Pratyush started, we met Hannes in Tanna, and he's the one who inspired us to do a project on rideshare and the pedelec, because when I drove the pedelec for the first time, it felt like a product for freedom and a product which is very easier to use and can have a greater impact in the society. Today in Indian cities, according to the latest TomTom index, in top 10 cities we have the 3 cities from India with a very higher range of traffic, and our city is one of the most impacted one in them. So the whole idea is that the solution that a pedelec offered was much more needed for the city of Pune, and that is where we thought that we should first try to do this in the city of Pune, which also got us in our own backyard. And because of our connects and contacts, it became easier for us to talk to the government, convince them that this problem is real, and that is how we were able to create Easy Pedal Rideshare. Today, I would like to give you a context of our project that not only we were able to make the charge and lock with help of our partners Unicorn, make that supply chain available for the European market as well. And with the number of stations that we are coming out, it's like we have around 80 stations that would be coming in the city of Pune in the next 1.5 years. And also after that, we would be getting in a few more community stations as we are working in a community-based model. And eventually the goal is to make citizens understand that for their smaller journeys, in India, it's like 70% of the journeys are lesser than 4 kilometers. And pedelec is the right solution where they can reduce the pollution, the traffic jam, and be more healthier as citizens. So with our organization, we are trying to create an impact in the society and try to make our city better and make people much more healthier in the course of action. And I think this is just a beginning, and we will try to create more efforts. Eurobike is another step in that direction. Thank you.
Another important point that Nikhil mentioned is when we talk about Easy Pedal as an electric bicycle, what we have learned is in India all the electric bicycles have a throttle on it, but our bike does not have a throttle on it. It is purely through your efforts from your thighs, and the motor just assists you. So it's actually a good way of exercising, because India is also in the top 5 when you talk about obesity, and a lot of people spend thousands and thousands of rupees on gyms, but this is a very cheap solution for them to get healthy at 50 paise per minute only. So our app is already live on Play Store and App Store, and we are launching next month. So feel free to join us. Thank you.
Another important aspect is that in the Indian context is, which we feel that we have not done the normal thing, is when you go to buy a bicycle or you go to buy a pedelec in India, the first thing is people ask is how much does it cost, and they try to buy the lower cost. And when we were in our journey of exploring the pedelecs and the bicycles in India, everybody told us that the bicycle should cost lower, there should be lesser features so that the people accept it. But we went on the other round, that the quality aspect of the product should be better. It should look like a more aspirational product, and it doesn't matter what the cost is. If you give it as a subscription, people will definitely try to use it. And that's what we bring in. It just costs 50 cents for a minute to ride our pedelec and the bicycle, which is the lowest in one of the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks a lot for presenting this, and I think we had some impressions here from the show, and yeah, see you later.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
अरे मैं आदित्य को पूछ रहा था, आदित्य को बुला लेता.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Another thing.
you.